Welcome to World Cinema Library.
Hi guys, welcome back. Some films don't rely on jump scares but slowly crawl under your skin and stay there. And The Exorcist opens like a quiet mystery grounded in reality, faith, and deeply unsettling questions. What begins as strange behavior gradually turns into something far more terrifying and impossible to explain, allowing the fear to grow naturally. The horror never rushes, choosing instead to build patiently and make every moment feel heavy and uncomfortable. Throughout the film, there is a constant tension between science and belief, logic and the unknown, pulling the audience into a disturbing uncertainty. From the very start, the movie delivers a chilling warning that evil doesn't announce itself. It arrives silently. The film begins with an unsettling discovery in Iraq, where an elderly priest and archaeologist senses the presence of an ancient evil long buried beneath the ground. This brief but powerful opening quietly establishes that what is coming is not new, but something old, patient, and dangerous. The story then moves to Washington, where actress Chris McNeil lives with her young daughter Regan, whose life slowly begins to change in ways that feel disturbing, but not immediately supernatural. At first, Regan's behavior seems like emotional instability or illness, angry outbursts, strange noises, and unsettling habits that worry her mother. Chris turns to doctors and specialists, trusting science to provide answers, but every medical explanation fails. As Regan's condition worsens, the line between illness and something far darker begins to disappear. The disturbances soon become violent and terrifying, pushing the household into constant fear as Regan's body and voice seem no longer her own. Medical science reaches its limits, leaving Chris desperate and broken, willing to consider what she once dismissed. This is when faith enters the story through Father Karras, a priest struggling with guilt, doubt, and a crisis of belief following his mother's death. Though hesitant and skeptical, Karras is drawn into the case as the evidence becomes impossible to deny. The house transforms into a place of pure dread, where every moment feels like a confrontation with something unseen. As the situation escalates, another priest with strong faith and quiet confidence joins the fight, preparing for a ritual that is as dangerous as it is sacred. The exorcism itself becomes a brutal test of endurance, belief, and sacrifice, where words of faith clash violently against pure hatred and evil. The struggle is not only to save the child, but to protect the souls of those who dare to confront the darkness. As the evil fights back with cruelty and manipulation, the priests are pushed to their breaking points, forced to face their deepest fears and weaknesses. In the end, the victory comes at a heavy cost, marked by loss and irreversible change rather than relief or celebration. When the presence finally leaves, the silence feels painful, earned, and deeply haunting. The Exorcist closes not as a story of triumph, but as a reminder that true evil leaves scars long after it is gone. Blair delivers a performance that goes far beyond her age, making Regan's transformation deeply disturbing and painfully believable. She shifts from innocence to terror in a way that never feels exaggerated, grounding the supernatural horror in human fear. Burstyn brings emotional weight as a mother fighting helplessly against something she cannot understand or control. Her desperation feels raw, especially as science repeatedly fails her, pushing her closer to breaking point. Jason Miller's Father Karras adds emotional depth, portraying doubt and guilt with quiet intensity. His internal struggle makes the battle against evil feel personal rather than symbolic. Max von Sydow's Father Merrin enters the film with calm authority, representing faith that does not waver even in the face of pure darkness. His presence alone shifts the tone, making the confrontation feel inevitable and grave. The interaction between Merrin and Karras creates a powerful contrast between experience and doubt, belief and fear. Every performance feels restrained, never theatrical, allowing the horror to remain grounded. This realism is what makes the possession scenes so effective and unsettling. The characters don't fight monsters, they endure terror, and that makes everything feel disturbingly real. From a technical standpoint, The Exorcist relies more on atmosphere than visual excess, which is why it remains effective even today. The cinematography uses cold lighting and controlled framing to create a sense of unease rather than spectacle. Camera movements are slow and deliberate, allowing tension to grow naturally within the frame. Editing avoids flashy cuts, instead holding on moments just long enough to make the audience uncomfortable. Sound design plays a crucial role, with sudden silences often feeling more frightening than loud effects. The iconic musical cues and disturbing audio details quietly reinforce the film's sense of dread. Beneath its horror, the film explores powerful themes of faith, doubt, and human vulnerability. It questions how far science can go when faced with forces beyond logic and reason. The struggle is not only against possession, but against inner fear, guilt, and disbelief. Father Karras represents modern uncertainty, while Merrin symbolizes unwavering faith shaped by experience. The possession becomes a metaphor for losing control, innocence, and identity. Through this conflict, the film suggests that belief itself can be both fragile and powerful. What truly sets The Exorcist apart is its lasting emotional and psychological impact. It doesn't aim to shock for a moment, but to leave the viewer unsettled long after it ends. The horror feels personal, invasive, and deeply human, making it harder to forget. Even decades later, its scenes remain disturbing because they are rooted in realism and restraint. The film changed how horror was perceived, proving it could be serious, thoughtful, and terrifying at the same time. The Exorcist stands not just as a horror film, but as a landmark in cinema history. The Exorcist is not a film meant for casual fear, but for those who appreciate slow psychological horror with emotional depth. It demands patience, rewarding the viewer with an experience that feels intense and deeply unsettling. Rather than relying on spectacle, it uses realism and restraint to make the horror believable. Every element works together to create a sense of dread that lingers long after the credits roll. This is a film that challenges comfort and belief at the same time. Even after decades, its power remains undiminished. IMDb rating, 8.1 out of 10.
Thanks for watching.